Good morning, everybody. Primary 4. I hope you enjoyed your long vacation. So, let's start. Today we will start once again with story time and lesson 7. As you remember, a story consists of setting, the character and the plot. Of course, you know the setting, the time and the place. The characters, we have of course the main character and the subsidiary characters. Today we will talk about the plot. The plot means the events, what's going on in the story. So, in this event we have the conflict and the resolution. What does mean conflict? Conflict means the problem that the character is facing, which he has to deal with, he has to suffer, he has the challenges to solve this problem. And this, what he did is a resolution. It means how he solved this problem. So, we are going to read a small story and I want you to concentrate. Find the conflict, which means the problem, and then think how the character solved this problem, which is a resolution. Now, I would like to read the definition of both of them. The plot of a story contains a conflict or problem that the character must solve. And then the resolution of the plot shows how the conflict is solved. As you read a story, look for challenges the character faces, then look for the step they take to solve them. Knowing how to recognize the conflict and resolution in a plot helps you better understand any story. Now, listen carefully to this small story. Jana and Rick bounded towards the stable. Jared lagged behind his cousin. He hadn't told them he had never ridden a horse. He had never ridden a horse. A knot of fear rose in his throat. You know what's a knot? Okay, if you have a rope and you tie it, you have a knot. So now he has a knot in his throat. What does it mean he has a knot in his throat? Think about it. Now, Jana must have guessed. You can ride old Bai, she said. She is very gentle. We will ride around the corral until you get used to her. Jared felt much better. Now, can you tell me what is the conflict here in this story? We talk about 3 children. One of them, he had never ridden a horse before. So, what is the conflict now? That this one, he had never ridden a horse before. Jada, worried because she has never ridden a horse. Now, what is the plot event? Jada lags behind because he is afraid. What does it mean lag? It means walk slowly. He's not in a hurry. He's slowing down. Jana guessed that Jared has never ridden before. So the other girl, she said, why is he walking so slowly? I believe he had never ridden a horse before. It means he is afraid. Yeah? Now, Jana told Jared to come. He can practice riding a very gentle horse. Okay. Now, about this story here, what is the conflict here? Now let's write the conflict once again. The conflict is that this Jared is worried. Why? He has never ridden a horse. This is the conflict. Now let's talk about the blood event. What is the blood events? What happens till we solve this conflict? So what happens? Here, number one, Jared lags behind. Why he lags behind? Because he has never ridden a horse once again. So Jana told him, you can ride a gentle horse. Told Jared he can ride a gentle horse. So now, what is the resolution of this conflict? So I told you that we have a conflict, that this Jared, he is afraid of riding horse because he had never ridden a horse before. These are the blood events. What did they do to let her overcome his fear? Now, the conflict is resolved. How? Jared, sorry, let me change the marker. Feels much better about riding a horse. So, as you see in this small story, we have a conflict, which is this little boy, he is afraid of riding a horse. Now, the blood event that his friends helped him to feel better or to overcome his fear towards horses, and at the end he feels much better. So now the conflict is resolved by feeling much better. Okay. Now, let's go to our robust vocabulary, which will help us reading the main story of lesson 7. Robust vocabulary. Now, reluctant. What does it mean, reluctant? Reluctant means you don't feel like doing any certain job. For example, chores at home, washing dishes. I am reluctant to wash dishes. It means when I go to do it, I'm not happy. I'm just bored. I don't want to do it, but I have to do this job. So reluctant means you don't want to do something, or you don't do it happily. So she or he doesn't to do something. Now, rumbled. What does mean rumble? Let me give you an example. A boy who is careless about his uniform, he comes in the morning without washing his face and his uniform is rumbled. So, do you know what does mean rumbled? It is not ironed, it is not neat. So, somebody had rumbled clothes. What does it mean? You got the meaning now? Let me write it down. It means wrinkled. Or messy. Here the third word, 2. Now number 3, surge. The word surge is referring to feelings. It could be a good feeling or a bad one. For example, I have a surge feeling of happiness. Surge feeling of happiness means an increased feeling of happiness, or a surge feeling of sadness also means an increased feeling of sadness. So surge means increase. You feel something, or you feel it suddenly and very strongly. Can you read my marker, or it's not clear? I hope I can find a better word. So, now number 4. Well, it is the same. Let me see this one. Inspecting. Ah, this is much better. You remember we had in a story before inspector. This is the job. So the inspector is inspecting something. What does it mean to inspect? To look at something carefully to know more about it. So inspecting means looking at something very carefully. Number 5, tote. So tote means stretched or pulled. For example, if you have a wire or a rod and you tote it, means you stretch it or you pull it. So this is tote, to stretch or to pull something. Or pulled. Number 6, I have the word untangled. Now, for example, I'm sorry, maybe I have to use this one here. If you have a knot in a rope, this is a knot. To untangle it means to loosen the knot. This is untangle. Untangled. So untangled, it means to untie a knot. Untie a knot. Number 7. Resounded. Resounded. Of course, you know the meaning of the word sound. So if you say that the boy's voice resounded in a room, it means the room is filled with his sound. It's very high, you can hear it everywhere. So this is resounded. Now let me write the meaning once again. Resounded, filled with sound. Filled with sound. Now the last word is lucht. The word lucht, what does mean lucht? As you see. It's very easy, I can tell you hide. To lurk means to hide, but there is a big difference between lurk and hide. If you lurk, maybe you are afraid of something. If you hide, maybe you are afraid of something, you don't want somebody to see you. But lurk, it means you hide with bad intention. Maybe you want to attack. Maybe you want somebody to be afraid of you. Hey, here I am. So this is lurk. Lurk means you hide with a bad intention. You want to do something wrong. For example, a cat lurked behind the door, waiting for the mouse to attack. Or a fox lurked behind a tree, waiting for the hen to hunt it. So this is lurk. Means to hide with a bad intention. It means hidden, before doing something wrong. Before doing something bad. So, after I want you to study these vocabulary once again very well, and then your homework is to read the small story on page 184 and 185. So, please read student book, page 100, I believe 84 and 5. That's right, 84 and 185. Then, in the next session, we will discuss how much you understand of it. And please, I want you to find the conflict, the blood event, and the resolution of this small story. Good luck. See you next time. Thank you, everybody.